Alright, so we're back. We're gonna continue our playthrough of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. This is part 2. I think today I'm just gonna run around and kind of dick around, maybe collect some items in the overworld, do some side quests and shit, and then in the next video we'll get to the next dungeon. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So, go ahead and get the game started. Mabay Village. Maybe Village. Maybe Village. Alright. So, here we go. Do a couple of flips. Yeah, check this out. Boom. Check that move out. Oh, you like that shit? Once you get something into the prize area at the turn of the game, it's yours. We've been trying to win that Yoshi doll for our mom. For your mom. Zinger. Let's go take a look here. What's up, Four Eyes? What you got for me? Trinity game, 1 play, 10 rupees. Well, hell yeah, let's do this. So anyway, this is the first time I've ever played this Zelda game. I know it originally came out on the original Game Boy, and then subsequently was released on the Game Boy Color. I never played it though. I always wanted to, but for some reason, handheld gaming has never really been my thing. My Nintendo Switch stays docked 100% of the time, so I never play it in a handheld mode. God damn it! What is my problem? Maybe if I focus on the fucking game instead of digging around. Alright, let me grab this fucking Yoshi doll real quick. Come on, baby. Here we go. This is the one. And we got it. We got it. Boom. Oh, what the hell? You gotta be kidding me. Alright, well. So I just knock him on there. Just fucking kind of bump him under the fucking belt. You don't have to pick him up. Oh, what the fuck? Alright, this is ridiculous. See if I can get this thing. Oh, what the fuck? I'm doing terrible. So anyway, I'd always wanted to play this game. Just never got around to it because, like I said, I don't really play handheld games. I've always liked Nintendo's handhelds, but I don't know. There's something I don't like holding the system in my hand. It always the controls always feel awkward to me for some reason. But I mean, I liked the DS. I liked the 3DS. Loved the Game Boy Advance. Never had a Game Boy Color. I had a original Game Boy many years ago, but never really played it. It was a friend. He let me borrow it, and I just never gave it back, apparently. And then my ex-girlfriend confiscated it from me, so we'll never see that guy again. That was over 20 years ago. I was hoping that I could drop something and hit Yoshi and fucking knock him down, but apparently not. So, I don't know. I always wanted to play the game, just never got around to it. I loved the Game Boy Advance, and I might have owned this game at one point on the Game Boy Color, or for the Game Boy Color. Just never played it. I don't think I did, though. I think I owned the two Oracle Zelda games, the Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of something or other. I own those two, I know. I don't think I ever owned this one. But those games were, I mean, I hardly played them, but they were kind of the same style and everything, the same top-down. And what in the fuck? Why is this game cheating me out of the Yoshi doll? How is the conveyor belt not pulling him down? Anyway, so I always wanted to play through the Oracle games. They looked fun. I just haven't never gotten around to it. And I always wanted to play through this game and the Minish Cap on the Game Boy Advance. That game looked fun as balls. Always wanted to play it. Watch this. Boom. I'm going to get a twofer. Boom. Boom. Yeah, there we go. Finally, you fucking bitch. So, the Minish Cap looked fun. Never played it. I think I owned it at one time, but sold it. Never played it, though. I just never played it. The only Zelda game on any handheld that I've ever played through is the one that was on 3DS, the spiritual sequel to Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds. That's the only Zelda game I've ever played all the way through on handheld. And it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it, except the whole renting system where you rented the items instead of finding them in the dungeons and then you keep the items for the rest of the game. You had to rent the items. You went and you rented them, paid a certain amount for each item. And I mean, I guess it kind of made sense in a way, because really, in almost every Zelda game ever made, you're only going to use a lot of the items like one time. There's like a specific intended purpose for most of the items where you use it like one time and then you're done. There's exceptions, of course, but I mean, look at the original Zelda game. Hold on. She's probably back at the house. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna go to the house and give this bitch her fucking Yoshi doll. I mean, the original Zelda game, you had like the raft. How many times did you actually use the raft? You used it to get to like, what was it, level 5 or 4 or whatever? You had to cross the water in the lake. Oh, will you give me that Yoshi doll to my baby? Yes. Oh, thank you. You are indeed a generous person. Ah, I will give you this. Yay, a ribbon. Just what I always wanted, a fucking ribbon. I'm gonna be the prettiest girl at the ball. Those are my boys. I'm Paul. I'll be lost in the hills later, so keep a lookout for me here. How the hell does this guy know he's gonna be lost in the woods later? That makes no sense. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'll be in a terrible car accident later on, so watch out for that. Hey, dude. I don't know, I'm just a kid. You're goddamn right, you're just a kid. You're just a punk. Just a stupid punk. There ain't nothing here. This is all garbage. I'm out of here. Farts, Terrence taking a nap at home. I don't give a crap. What's Marin doing though, you know what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. What's old Marin doing? Let's see. Aye, it's terrible. My Bow Wow was dog napped by Mama Moblins. Ooh, ah, please. Shut up, ho. Come here, chicken. Come take some of that. Yeah, you like that? What about you, Foxy? Oh, shit. Oh. That son of a bitch was nipping at me. Do you see that? He was fucking nipping at me. Look at that. Little son of a bitch. It's serious. Really serious. No shit. Well, still can't get that book. Oh, the ribbon. This dude. Yeah, I forgot. I need it. Will you trade for my dog food? Sure, I'll take a can of fucking dog food. Exchange ribbon for some dog food. It's full of juicy beef. Pardon me, but can I get a can of your best juicy beef? Give me some juicy beef. A can of juicy beef. Why would it be juicy beef? That's disgusting. It just sounds gross, Nintendo. What are you thinking? Out of my way, kids. I got a can of juicy beef. So, back to Zelda. So the game on 3DS was fun. And I guess like I said, it made sense that you rented the items because really, you don't use most of the items except for the once or twice that you have to use it. And then, other than that, you use your fucking sword and boomerang. That's pretty much it. But still, I don't know. I like the idea of you find the items in the dungeons and then it's yours to, because I like to see, kind of gauge how far I am into a Zelda game by how many of the items I have. You know, you look at your inventory and you go, oh, well, I've got 8 of the 10 items. I just need 2 more, so that tells me how far I am. What am I going to get in return for that? Give me something good, you son of a bitch. Bananas. You're gonna give me some fucking bananas. You have a whole fucking stand of bananas right there. Alright. Anyway, so Link Between Worlds is fun, but that's the only Zelda game I've ever played all the way through on a handheld. I never played the ones that were on the DS, Spirit Tracks and the other one. I can't think of the other one. I didn't like the fact that you had to control Link by using the stylus. I thought that was so fucking gimmicky. Why do I want to control Link with the stylus? Just let me control him with the fucking D-pad. That's the one thing about Nintendo is they come up with these gimmicky things like the DS and the stylus, touchscreen and shit, and the Wii with the Wii controller, and they force you to use them. They make their games where you have to use it, like the Wii version of Zelda Twilight Princess, where you had to use the waggle controls, and they were horrible. Just horrible. I don't want to fucking swing the goddamn controller around like a damn jackass. I'm old and I'm fat. I just want to sit on the sofa and play fucking Zelda, old school style. I ain't got time for that shit. For exercise and whatnot. Speaking of Twilight Princess, I remember standing in line at Toys R Us when the Wii first came out. I mean, not when it first came out, but you know, that first holiday when it was out. And you could not find one anywhere. Nobody had a Wii anywhere. They were impossible to find. I got some inside information that Toys R Us was going to get a truck of them, or a shipment of them, one morning. So me and a guy I worked with woke up at 6 a.m. and stood in line at Toys R Us, and we both got our Wii, our Nintendo Wiis. And I purchased Zelda Twilight Princess to go along with it, because I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to play the new Zelda on the new console. Why would I want it on GameCube when I could have it on the Wii? Because it's going to be way better on the Wii. Turns out, I fucking hated it on the Wii. I hated the controls so much, so literally the very next day, it might have been the same day actually, I don't remember, but it was either that same day or it was the very next day that I took Twilight Princess back and exchanged it for the GameCube version. Because the GameCube version was way better because it used the classic controls. Also, everything was reversed in the GameCube version, weirdly enough, because in the Wii version, Link was right-handed because of the controller, and so everything was like reversed. Everything was like mirror mode, so everything that was east in the GameCube version was west in the Wii version. It was bizarre. So when I took it back and traded it in for the GameCube version, I started playing the GameCube version and I was confused. I was like, why? I'm pretty sure it was over here and not over there. And of course I read up on it and found out that, yeah, everything was reversed due to the fact that they made Link right-handed in the Wii version, because I guess the greater percentage of people are right-handed, so they made Link right-handed because that's where you're going to hold the Wii remote. Man, the price of the fucking GameCube version of Twilight Princess has gone way up. The price of everything has gone way up on video games. GameCube is ridiculously priced now. Like, what's a good example? Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on the GameCube. It was only ever released on the GameCube. I think it's being released finally. Maybe on newer platforms. I think they're remaking it or doing an HD port or whatever. But it was the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid on the GameCube. And for years, I could find it on eBay or at the local retro video game store. $20. Consistently $20 for years. Just in the last 2 years maybe, that game is now $100. It went from $20, nobody wanted it, nobody cared, and now apparently everybody wants it, and it's gone up 5 times as much as it used to be. Prices are ridiculous. Sega games, Sega Genesis, and Sega, especially Sega CD, and probably Sega Saturn games. Those prices are fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. Now, I bought Snatcher for the Sega CD a few years ago because I ran into some money and I was like, well, I'm never going to have this kind of money ever again. This is going to be my only chance to own this game. And I don't know why I wanted Snatcher so bad. I had never played the game before. It just looked cool and sounded cool. And I like the Sega CD. I've always liked it. It's something that I had wanted as a kid, but my mom wouldn't buy it for me. So the only time I ever got to play it was at a friend's house, and he let me borrow it once, and I liked it. It was different. It played CDs instead of cartridges, so I thought it was a cool piece of technology. And plus it had Dragon's Lair on it, which, even though I never really played the arcade, I think I played the arcade once, and didn't understand it. I always loved the cartoon graphics of the game, so the fact that the actual arcade version of Dragon's Lair was on Sega CD was a huge selling point for me. But yeah, Snatcher, I don't know, I watched some videos on it and read up on it, and it just looked cool and sounded cool, and I wanted that game so bad. But the price was ridiculous. The price at the time was between $450 and $500 complete, which for a single video game is disgusting. You should never pay $500 for a fucking video game. But I ran into some money, and I knew that that was my only chance that I would ever have to own this game, and so I bought it. Just in the last 2 years, the price of Snatcher and other games like it on the Sega CD, all those super expensive games that were all around the same $500 price point, are now $700 to like $1,500. Just in the last couple of years, these prices have gone way up. Like, Snatcher didn't become more rare. There's still the same number of copies out there. It's just, for some reason, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I don't know if more and more people are wanting to collect physical media, or I know the pandemic has something to do with it in the last year, but that's just the last year. The pandemic, everybody was home and they wanted to have something to do at home, and so people started to get into different things, video game collecting, shit like that. So the pandemic had a lot to do with it. And I don't know if maybe it's still in that generation where the people who grew up with it are still at that age where they have the money to buy games now that they wanted when they were kids, or they played when they were kids, and now they want to own them as adults. So I don't know if they're at that age for the Genesis era, the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Sega CD, all that. I thought we had moved past that at this point. I thought we were headed into the sort of the PlayStation 2 and Xbox era, but maybe not. Maybe I'm jumping the gun there. Maybe we're around the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. I don't know. So, I don't know what to do here. Obviously nothing. Obviously nothing. So I'll just do that. I'll do nothing. Kill that guy. So, yeah, anyway, prices of video games, it's gotten to the point where it's not fun anymore. Like, when I first started collecting for video games, it was a blast. It was fun. Prices were super cheap, especially relative to today's prices. Like, you could find pretty much any Nintendo game when I first started collecting, because nobody wanted Nintendo games. Everybody wanted, at this time, I think the Nintendo 64 was out. So everybody wanted Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1. Nobody cared about retro gaming. Nobody looked back at that time. It was just looking forward. Nobody was into retro gaming. So me and just a couple of people that I knew were still into the old consoles. So we would go around to pawn shops and video stores that were selling off all their old rental video games and stuff. And they didn't really have retro video game stores at the time. I don't think GameStop really existed Why did I fucking... I need to pay attention, apparently. Ugh. I don't know what I'm doing. So, we would go around to, like, pawn shops, and we'd go to flea markets and shit like that, and we'd find Nintendo games. Like, any game, pretty much. $5 to $10 a piece. It didn't matter what fucking game. RPGs, like the Dragon Warrior games. Those, $10 each. It didn't matter what it was. Nobody knew the rarity of the games. Like, if you knew the rarity of the game, then you were a fucking video game genius, because, for one, the internet was still pretty much in its infancy. So you couldn't just go to websites and look up the rarity of different games. You really had to do some fucking legwork on that shit to find a website. The internet back then was not what it is today. It was not easy to find anything on there. Except porn. Porn has always been easy to find on the internet. Hell, it was even easier back then when it was free. I mean, it's still free, but before, who was it, Clinton or somebody, I don't remember who it was that passed the laws against internet porn. But it used to be even easier to find pornography. But, yeah, you couldn't find, I mean, IGN, actually, the Nintendo 64 is how I found IGN. I believe their channel was called N64.com. And that's how I discovered IGN, and that's where I would go to find all my video game news. I remember when Zelda Ocarina of Time was coming out, I would go there to read up on all the new information. And I couldn't wait for that game to come out. It looked like the greatest Zelda adventure of all time. And you know what? It was one of the greatest Zelda adventures of all time. Still is. Such a fantastic game. Now, you play it now and you're in the open field in the Hyrule, what is it called? The Hyrule field or whatever it's called. And the enemies are pretty sparse. I mean, it's pretty empty. The landscape's pretty empty. There's no real, like, danger. And you feel like that you're running from point A to point B and it's kind of pointless. But still, that game, just the scope of it at that time was amazing. You could see the castle far off in the background, and you could actually run through the field to the castle. It was just such an amazing game. And honestly, it was the last Zelda game that I was really super excited about. Even Majora's Mask, when that came out, it was kind of like, it's another Zelda. It didn't have the same effect. I mean, I like Majora's Mask quite a bit. It's a fun game, and I like the fact that they used that guy was fucking stabbing. Why was he stabbing like that? That was dumb. So, what was I saying? Yeah, Majora's Mask is a fun game, and I like the fact that they used... I mean, I like the fact that we got 2 Zeldas on a single console, because that didn't happen on the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo, we got 1 Zelda, that was it. So, it's always nice when you get more than 1 Zelda on a console. But, I guess Wind Waker I was looking forward to when it came out. I remember all the hate that it got for how it looked. A lot of people didn't like the cartoonish look. I personally loved it. I thought that the cel-shaded Toon Link, I guess is what they called them, I thought it looked amazing. I thought it looked like it kind of harkened back to the original Link, the original look of Link. More cartoonish looking instead of the more quote-unquote realistic versions of Link that we got with Ocarina and Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and so on. I liked the more cartoonish look of Link. I like this too. These graphics are nice. They're kind of cartoonish, but they're also kind of like the original Zelda. And I really like the look of this. I don't know if I liked it at first. I don't know if I like the plastic look, because that's what it looks like to me. It looks plastic. But it's grown on me since, and I really wish that Nintendo would take all their old handheld games and like the 2 Oracle games. I wish that they would redo those using the same engine, because they've got the engine, so I mean you can go do those games now, port those to the console instead of porting all these games that came out later. Like, what is the point of porting Skyward Sword? Skyward Sword looked fine. It didn't need an HD version. Why are we getting an HD version of Skyward Sword? I've never even played Skyward Sword. That's the first, well, besides the last Zelda game that came out, but Skyward Sword was the first console Zelda that I still have yet to play. And then the newest one, whatever the hell it's called, Zelda's Grand Adventure, Zelda's Big Adventure, whatever the fuck the newest one's called. I can't think of it. I don't know why, but there was something about Skyward Sword that I didn't like. It looked kind of gimmicky to me. And then the new game, I'm not sure about that one either, because it looks like all your weapons that you pick up end up breaking after a certain amount of uses or whatever. I don't know. I don't know about weapons with durability in a Zelda game. Let's see. Where to go? I don't know why I keep trying to fucking lift this shit. I'm dumb. Oh shit, you see that? The guy just fucking got... Oh, snap. What's up, chompers? Holy shit, you see that? Fucking chompers over here. So, why do I keep doing that? I'm dumb. It's not gonna... I can't lift it. Jeez, I'm dumb. So, I don't know. Did any of you guys play Skyward Sword? Did you like it? I mean, I'm sure it's a fun game. It's a Zelda game. Of course it's gonna be fun. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of looked gimmicky. Like Twilight Princess. It was a fun Zelda game, but I hated the gimmick of the wolf. It was so tedious after a while. Like, at first it was cool. It's like, oh, look at that. I can transform into a wolf. But after a while, it's like, ugh, I'm so tired of transforming into a wolf. Because you had to transform into the wolf to get the scent of whatever you're looking for. And so you had to transform into the wolf, otherwise you couldn't solve the puzzle. And it just became a chore after a while. And I was afraid, I don't remember what Skyward Sword's gimmick was, but I always felt like it just looked gimmicky. I mean, I guess Wind Waker was kind of the same thing with the boat. You had to sail around from island to island, but the game just looks so good, and it's still, I mean, just the GameCube graphics alone still hold up really nice. I know they remade it for the Wii U, the HD graphics, but that game didn't need HD graphics because the graphics still hold up on the GameCube. Speaking of the GameCube, I think that was my last favorite Nintendo console, was the GameCube. The Wii was okay. I mean, it's got a lot of good games on it, but I honestly don't care to ever play the Wii ever again. I don't think it served its purpose. I had a lot of fun with it, but those gimmicky controls, and I don't know. I don't see myself ever playing the Wii ever again. Not like the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo 64 or even the GameCube. I just don't see myself ever going back to play the Wii ever again. Or the Wii U. The Wii U had a lot of good games on it too, but I don't see myself ever going back to playing any of those games. And maybe that's just my age. I don't know. I'm old, and I prefer old games. I prefer cartridge-based games for the most part. I'm an old man. But I just don't see myself going back to play a lot of these games. But like that era with the GameCube and the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, I can see myself going back to playing some of those games. I know the frame rate sucks on a lot of those older games, because the consoles still weren't quite ready for full-on 3D games. But man, that era had some great games. The GameCube, of course, has a whole collection of fantastic games, and the PlayStation 2's, holy shit, that library is like 1,000,000 games. So there's just so many good games on those consoles. But like the 360 and the PS3 and the Wii U, and now the PS4 and Xbox One, I don't know. Once they're obsolete, I just don't see myself going back to playing. I don't have that same nostalgia feeling for those consoles as I do the early consoles that I played growing up. I just don't have it. So I think I'm just about to the first dungeon here. And I'm going to call it quits right about here, and then pick up next time. Look at that, some rupees. Yay, I got some rupees. Very nice. Ooh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Alright. Here we go. So I'm gonna call it quits. And that's it for this episode. We'll pick it up for part 3 later on, and play through this dungeon and go from there. So I'll see you guys next time.
This is also Radical Gamer Jam.